What makes a foil better than others? For me, the key elements to maximize performance are top speed, lift, and glide. If you get a foil that optimizes these three elements, you're going to be extremely happy with your foil. Now, if I could add a few extra items to this list, I would probably also include build quality, stiffness, and playfulness, but I'll get into that a little bit more shortly. In this video, I'm going to showcase the F4 GP series foils and really use this as a benchmark for what any foil that you're looking at buying should include. But before we get into it, intro. Hey guys, Blaze here with West Coast Wing Foil. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Make sure to download my foil resource, which I'm going to link in the video description below. That really summarizes everything important about foil performance and gives you my most up-to-date recommendation and guide on the best foil and specs for your riding conditions and your size. So I've wing foiled on a number of different foils, and as you progress as a rider, you start to really understand how different shapes, sizes, and build qualities affect your riding experience. I created a video on the best foil for beginners, which really factors in utility in terms of high-performing foil with price in mind. In this video, I wanted to focus more on what makes a foil just simply the best. I've been riding F4 Foil's GP series for about 8 months now, and from all my research, talking to pro riders, and my personal experience, this foil is the closest thing to the best that I can find. I welcome anyone with foil experience to offer their suggestions or counter-arguments in the comment section below. I don't pretend that I'm the smartest foil technician on the planet, but I do put a lot of time in trying other foils and speaking to lots of other riders. And through my experience, the F4 GP series, specifically with the 1450 front wing, is by far my favorite all-around foil to ride. The F4 GP series is F4's high-performance foil line that they designed for pro riders, and some of us mere mortals who are obsessed with getting the best can really enjoy as well. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about is stiffness. When you talk to an intermediate or pro-level rider, stiffness is a huge factor for a few reasons. Stiffness will help you cut upwind. It's also going to make your foil react quicker to your input. So when you start a turn, there won't be a flex in your foil, which causes a delay in the foil's reaction time and can cause some bounce back, making your maneuverability a bit more difficult and less efficient. In other words, stiff is key, and to get stiffness, you need great build quality. A carbon fiber mast is going to give you a strong build and more stiffness, but a foil also needs to have the right construction and design to ensure that that stiffness is there. In my opinion, no one does it better than F4's GP series in this category, and it's definitely something to look at no matter what brand of foil you're buying. The next factor that is really important is wing design. In my foil resource that I linked in the video description, I give you a full breakdown on wing aspect ratios and how that's going to affect your riding style and wind conditions. So definitely take a look at that to get a bit more context on how wingspan and shape affects your riding. But for me, I wanted a foil that could help me get up in light wind conditions. So something that had good lift, but also something that had good glide and a stall speed that wasn't too high. Basically, I wanted it all, which isn't theoretically possible, but you can get the perfect balance to maximize each of these categories as much as possible. Stall speed means that you can glide at a slower speed, so you won't just fall off foil when you slow down. If you have a foil with a high stall speed, it might be able to go really fast, but if you slow down at all, like when you're doing a jibe, you will probably come off your foil a lot sooner than if it had a lower stall speed. This is because it can't maintain the lift at lower speeds. A lot of smaller high-performance foils are like this, which require you to turn at a faster speed, basically doing everything at faster speeds. So when you have your foil, it's great to get that super fast top speed, but then is really not going to perform well at lower speeds. So if you're an intermediate or still in that beginner category riding, then maybe it's not the best option because top speed's not going to be as important as a nice buttery smooth jibe, slow and controlled to keep you up on your board and riding versus falling off your foil and into the water and wasting a lot of unnecessary energy doing that over and over again. I've talked to a lot of people about stall speed, and you really can go back and forth because the reality of foils is you're not going to be able to get everything. Everyone wants the fastest foil on the market, but you're also going to want to ride in a nice smooth style that's going to allow you to keep you up out of the water, keep you up on foil, and be falling off the foil less and into the water and having to restart the whole process again. So here the balance is really figuring out, okay, where do you stand as far as your beginner to expert to, or intermediate level riding abilities, and what's going to be a foil that's going to kind of maximize your riding abilities, but not be a detriment to keeping you up on foil and keeping you riding. Now, I always like to err on the side of caution when it comes to foil stall speed, because to me, having a lower stall speed is going to be more of an advantage than having a super high top speed. I mean, even a foil that has a low stall speed enables you to go really slow in your foil. It's still going to go really fast. It's just going to be that extra little push that's going to get you, that gets expert riders just that much more faster. But then the trade-off for that, I find, is a lot larger. So if you're intermediate level foiler or anything before that, to me, it's better to err on the side of caution, get something with a lower stall speed, maybe a little bit less top speed, but honestly, I don't think most people are going to notice it, and you're still going to be able to go really, really fast. So the F4 1450 front wing really provides the perfect balance of these factors, and in my opinion, the best result. And I want to explain why. The foil is shaped with thin profile sections, and it has a fair amount of camber to it. The leading edge is not super round, nor is it too sharp, and what this does is it really helps your low-end stall speed while still giving you the benefits that normally lower stall speeds shapes don't deliver on. The F4 GP shape also gets you going at lower speeds, which is great for light wind conditions and gives you more time maneuvering jibes. Now, normally a lot of features of a foil, and really features for a lot of gear in general, are inversely proportional to each other. For example, if you want low stall speed, that means you're going to lose out on top speed or face more drag. So building a foil is a bit of a balancing act to maximize the key elements you want while not diminishing other riding characteristics that might also be important to you. The F4 GP 1450 has a stall speed that's low enough where I feel you don't have to go into turns too hot, and they've optimized some design features to give you an advantage in this category. But you also have a wing that's higher aspect and aerodynamically shaped to give you optimal glide. For me, glide is also really important as it helps when you're catching wind swell. It also gives you more time to complete your jibes, and it's a good feature to have to optimize for pumping when you're pumping your foil. Now, I'm obviously a huge advocate for the F4 GP series, in case you can't tell already, but nothing is perfect. So I did want to touch on a few areas that I think they could improve upon. If you're in the market for a foil, this might also help you identify features to take into account no matter what foil or brand that you're considering. The F4 GP series is a 3-piece design. Conventional foils have 4 components: mast, fuselage, front wing, and rear wing. F4 GP series has removed the fuselage to optimize performance and have a more seamless integration. I totally acknowledge that this is great for performance, but I like to transfer my foil disassembled in my foil bag, and this design makes the front wing more difficult to deal with as it has a longer tail that makes up the portion that would be the fuselage attached. I guess my point here is that I'd prefer a separated fuselage for travel, but if it means better performance, it's definitely something I'm willing to sacrifice. The other thing I wanted to mention is that F4's website is a bit difficult to navigate, in my opinion. There should be more of a clear distinction between the GP series and the regular foils. The way that you select your foil is based on the category of foiling, and I just found it a bit confusing if you're looking to buy a complete setup. So a few minor suggestions for F4, but important takeaways is that the F4 Foils GP series is definitely the leading in the foil space when it comes to design and build quality. The result is that you have the Rolls-Royce of foils when it comes to performance. So if you're looking for the best foil, the F4 GP series will definitely meet your high expectations with interest. I hope this video helps you make an informed decision on the best foil for you and your riding style. I'm always updating my ultimate foil resource, which I'm going to link to in the video description, so make sure to check that out for the most up-to-date recommendations, key performance features, breakdown, and tips and tricks when it comes to your foil. I also have a great video on how to repair your foil if you do have a foil with any nicks and scratches or damage. I'll also link to that video in the description below. Thanks again for tuning into my channel. Make sure to subscribe for more wingfoil tutorials, gear info, and other wingfoil related content. Wishing you good winds and awesome times on the water.